going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to the full view. Mina in the house, Marcel in the house, Kenny in the house, Owen in the house, KG in the air. KG's in the air. He's he's somewhere on a plane across. I don't know what ocean you have to cross to get to Nigeria actually. So geography is not my best. So whatever, I only know you cross the Atlantic to get to America. I don't know the other ones. But somewhere over an ocean lies KG, so he's not with us today. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Big up to all of you guys. Still on a little bit of a buzz after yesterday, penalties all the way. We're happy, but the news is newsing. A couple of bits of news. Obviously, Ryan Mason has just been reinstated after being reinstated another time before during the season. A mess. He is now back as Tottenham's manager, as they have sacked Stellini. Interim manager bounce. Oh, don't you dare. But more importantly, there's been a lot of talk about Harry Kane today as well. And we're going to be talking about, can we stop City? It's in our hands. Forget City doing a treble. We can stop them doing it ourselves whilst getting a second trophy. So we've got a lot to talk about in this hour, man. So big up to everyone. Here you go. Jeffrey's good at geography. Jeffrey says it's the Mediterranean or the Atlantic, depending on which way we go. Okay. Didn't know that. There you go. We're a little bit of geography quiz master there. Kane, Owen, just to give a bit of context so the group we can start discussing it. What was the news that came out earlier today regarding Kane?
Yeah, so this was coming from Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph, who was saying that Manchester United have started to make attempts to find out what it will take to sign Harry Kane, with the expectation increasing that the striker will not sign a new Spurs contract this summer. United plan to bid for Kane, and the due diligence over what his price tag may be and how to handle the negotiations with Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy has already begun. The prospect, according to this report, of United making a serious offer for Kane is a nightmare for Levy. Spurs sources believe there is currently little chance of Kane recommitting himself to Spurs in the summer, but United are well aware of how difficult Daniel Levy will be to negotiate with over Harry Kane, and that they cannot afford a chase that lasts out until the last day of the transfer window while risking missing out on another target such as Victor Osimhen. United have now started work to try and establish the best way to make an early move for Harry Kane, giving themselves time to switch back to Osimhen or someone else if Daniel Levy digs his heels in. This is where it gets really interesting, though, because sources believe that while Levy might be prepared to listen to an offer in the region of £80 million from an overseas club for Harry Kane, he will demand at least £100 million from English clubs, or he might even decide just to reject all bids from any Premier League side, or even risk having him leave on a free transfer the following summer. So that's kind of the latest. But United already sniffing around Harry Kane, thinking, hey, that might be a deal that we could do in the summer. And Marcel was... going to be very happy because that means a bet I have lost.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said it.
What are you saying, Marcel? We'll start with you because I know you're a big Kane fan and you've been on this for a long time. And we've discussed Kane a lot because it's been in the background. But obviously, off the back of what happened to Spurs yesterday, this has now come to fruition even more. What are you saying?
Thank you, man. We've discussed Kane a lot because I've been talking about Kane since last season to Owen. And I've been getting grilled by the community. And now we've come into the future and here we are. The number one target, the number one footballer for Manchester United Football Club is Harry Kane. Of course, guys, we were going to get him. Of course, he had to be our striker choice. 20 goals a season, double figures assists every single season. It's a no-brainer. I don't even care about how much it costs. You're going to get a world-class goal scorer for 4 seasons, guaranteed. We're going to be competing for Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues, guys. I promise you that now. And you can do it. Owen, yes. I want you to do it. I want you to do it, Owen. I'm so happy because this is what happened last time. You were like this, you grilled me, and then lo and behold, it started happening. So I'm going to do it again.
The reason that I feel like Marcel with this, a bit like the De Gea issue, you're shifting the goalpost because what he was saying at the time, when it came to Harry Kane at the time, context is important. Context is king. At the time, he was saying we've got to get Harry Kane in the summer, and it was why he went because he wants to win trophies. And at the time, United were not competing for trophies, and a lot has changed between now and then. And I agree with Marcel now. I'm in the Harry Kane boat myself. I think it would be an excellent signing for Manchester United. I think if anything, the people that are kind of turning their noses up or rolling their eyes at Harry Kane, they need to have their eyes checked because the stats are there. I think he's having his best goal scoring season in something like 5 years. He scored 20 plus goals, I think, for the last 10 years or something like that at Spurs. It's crazy. And he would get into any team in the world. And I know people will say he's too expensive. It's too much. £100 million for a player that's got 1 year left on his contract. I say, do the maths. Robert Lewandowski went to Barcelona in the summer. He's 34. He went for £45 million. Take off about 4 years and add on the time. That would make sense. Around 100 million for someone like Harry Kane. And people said, yeah, but can he do it for, he'd only do it for 3 years. No problem. I'll have a peak Harry Kane because this is the thing. The way he plays, it's not as if it's like, I don't know, Torres or someone like that where as soon as he loses a yard of pace, he's done. He's never played with pace anyway. He's an intelligent footballer. He's a goal scorer. He's a finisher. He drops deep as well. His passing is excellent. His link-up play. How often this season, actually quite rarely, when Marcel has played and he does that thing when he gets his back to goal and he holds up the ball and we go, it's brilliant. Harry Kane does that every game, every single week. And then he scores goals on top of it. I think it'd be an excellent signing. I really do. I'm not against it. I don't think United are in the position to be turning their noses up at the person who's going to be the highest and best goal scorer in Premier League history and English football history as well. I don't see that, in my opinion. Exactly.
Owen, are you related to Harry Kane?
Look, we don't talk.
Mina's laugh. Mina,
we don't talk about Uncle Harry Kane here on the channel. Okay, we don't reference that.
Yeah, I was
the only one. I think it's probably me.
A couple of months ago, I was in a similar camp because you can't knock the lads' statistics and credentials. That's what you can't knock. My only concern, and I do raise it as a concern, is that what we've seen with Tottenham this year, is he not a big part of that kind of, and it's a kind of, there's a bit of a rebellion going on. And they seem to get it into their head in that dressing room as they kind of control which managers are coming in and out. And they respond accordingly. And is he not part of that, being the captain of that team? Because surely you've got to take some responsibilities for that. Because we've had our own team capitulate. We had it last year, and we was heavily criticising Harry Maguire as our captain, saying he didn't deserve to be the captain because he should be leading on the pitch, he should be doing X, he should be Y. I'm not saying Harry Kane is. But does he have that trait in him where he's knocking on Mr. Levy's door and saying, excuse me, Mr. Levy, but I don't like that manager, and if you don't change him, I'm not saying it is. That would be my only reservation. It's part of a culture in a club that appears to be player-driven. And I don't like that. We've had that before. We've had signings like that before.
I don't think Kane's that.
I think when you look at the Spurs captain, it's not even Kane, is it? Hugo Lloris.
Yeah.
And he's, first of all, he's
no. But what I'm I
get your point. Is that he's a leader. But I think this is another thing that people say about Harry Kane as well. They'll push back and they'll go, "What's he won? He plays for Tottenham. Of course, he's won nothing." You know what I mean? Of course he's won nothing.
It's true, though. It's true.
They don't win anything. And then when I compared him to Lewandowski before, how dare you, Owen? How dare you compare him to the almighty Robert Lewandowski? And I went, but if he, and this is the truth as well. If Harry Kane played where Robert Lewandowski has played for the last decade, i.e. Dortmund, the second best team in Germany, or Bayern Munich, the best team in Germany, he'd have won just as much as Lewandowski has. Because again, that team and that league is to score goals,
and then go to Barcelona and he'll still score loads of goals like this now.
He'll score load of goals. Again, I don't understand the sort of the turning the nose up at him and saying he's too expensive. He's too old as well. He's 29, he's 30 in the summer. So we're saying that Casemiro is no good as well then, because he's the same age. Rafael Varane, we're saying they're no good. We've seen the impact those players can have on Manchester United. And it's not to say that Osimhen's terrible either, because for whatever reason nowadays you're either one or the other. I'm happy with either. But if we do get Harry Kane, I'm not going to be sitting there cursing the world and being like, I can't believe we've done that. Oh, terrible. What a mistake.
Mina, what are you saying? Oh, sorry. One sec, Kenny. Mina, big decision to be made. Honestly, I think when I go through a lot of our comments and how the UV community feels, they're not feeling Harry Kane. A lot are not. And I'll say my opinion later, but what do you think?
I don't want to deal with Daniel Levy. I don't want to deal with him. He will make it difficult for us. I remember watching an interview with Berbatov when he was talking about when he joined United and how difficult Daniel Levy made that transfer for him. And he said, what was it? He was mentally and physically exhausted after that transfer ordeal because of the way that Daniel Levy was dealing with it. You don't know where I stand on this. As Nigerians would say, as KG would say if he was here, Niger no, they finish carry last. Niger no, they carry last. I want Victor Osimhen. Bring me Victor Osimhen. I don't want Harry Kane, simply because I've said it so many times. Value for money, 80 million for, European clubs and 100 million plus probably for an English club, number one. Number two, I think if Haaland was not in the league this year, a lot more people would probably be talking about Harry Kane scoring in the Premier League, because he's for a team that's not doing that well.
Yeah, for Spurs.
He's pretty much carrying them in terms of their goals, and he's doing actually very well. But for me, Owen spoke about Casemiro and Varane. I don't want to sign someone above 30 because the thought of having to replace them in about 3 to 4 years' time is not ideal. Of course, it's very rare for a player to stay at a club for like 8, 9, 10 years. But I would rather buy someone who is younger and would probably get their prime years out of them at the club rather than them approaching the end of their prime. And we sign them.
How do I see? If Osimhen came to the club, I'm not gonna be mad at that. Not gonna be mad at that at all. But I've got absolutely no problem with us going for Harry Kane. No problem. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that you'll get for the next 8 years. But like you said there, I think you just dropped it right at the end of what you said there. How often is that? How often does somebody stay at a club for that long? And I can see my internet's doing a madness. I can see in the corner it's coming up with the things. The speed's doing it. I don't know if it's a Virgin Media settings or what. Now it's come back. I don't know.
I will not take any Virgin Media slander.
But Kane gives goals are a premium in football. That's what they are. Goals, to score goals is almost the hardest thing to do in football. And when you can get someone who guarantees that, doesn't matter whether they're in the last year of their contract, it doesn't matter whether they're 30, it doesn't matter if they're 24, they're going to cost a hell of a lot of money because goals are premium tax. Premium tax. And Harry Kane isn't just someone who has a lucky season here or there or whatever. He consistently puts numbers on the board. And the whole reason why he gets the slander put on his name, in my opinion, is because he's chosen to stay at Spurs and win nothing. But ability-wise, if Lewandowski and Benzema can play to the ages that they're playing to, obviously in way better teams, and do what they're doing, why can't Harry Kane step up to a better team and do the same thing? If you're saying I think you can get minimum, and I think it's even a little bit more than this, minimum 3 years. I'm going to say even 4. I think you can have 4 years of Harry Kane at Man United for £100 million. And people, I think, will only question the £100 million if it doesn't lead to a Champions League or a Premier League. What do we say about price tags? We just spent £100 million on Anthony, who's unproven. Like 80 million, sorry. But, so for 20 million more, would you get someone like Harry Kane for 3-4 years who's guaranteed? So you go, there's not going to be, he's unavailable. We can't do this. Or is he a 9? Is he going to get you 20 goals a season? What we've had for ages to solve that problem for 4 years, 100 million, 90 million. And I get it. For 100 million for 1 year left, I get it. Like Knights is saying, he's laughing, saying, that's crazy money. But who else that's available? Because Harry Kane's technically available if you think about it with what's going on, yeah? Who else that's available? Would you put more money on Kane scoring 20 goals every season or Osimhen coming to Man United and scoring 20 plus every season? If you used to put your
the best way to say
who would you be more certain?
The best way to say it, Flex, is that let's say he signs a new contract with Spurs 5 years. The expectation would be that for at least 3 or 4 of those years, he would continue doing what he's doing now. That would be the expectation, wouldn't it? Is that he continue doing 20 goals-ish every season. So why wouldn't he do that at United? I just, like I said, and that's not again saying that if we do sign Victor Osimhen, I'm not against it.
It's still a good thing, 100%.
It's still a good player, but it's just this idea that.
What's a bigger gamble? What is a bigger gamble?
Osimhen will not achieve the same amount of goal involvements over the next 4 years as Harry Kane. Harry Kane will achieve more goal involvements over the next 4 years.
Even if he stays at Spurs and Osimhen
even if he stays at Spurs. Once Victor Osimhen enters the Premier League, he will not achieve as much goal involvements than Harry Kane for the same amount of time. He just won't. Harry Kane's that good.
Strong. Marcel's gone strong
That's
there.
A big statement,
Mina, what are you saying on that, Mina?
No, I was gonna say I wouldn't put my money on neither because I don't gamble.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You don't gamble. Yeah, I did change that statement. I was like, I know you don't gamble. That's why I was like, if you had to say who you think was the most likely to score more goals coming to the Premier League. Well, obviously, hey, Kane's already in it. But if they were both in the league from next season at Man United, who would you be more confident in scoring goals?
I would be confident in Kane because he can do it consistently. He's shown that he can do it consistently. But it wouldn't be crazy for me to say, oh, Osimhen could outscore him. Marcel's funny because he's saying goal involvements. He's saying as in goals and assists. But if you were to take pure goals, I would think Osimhen would outscore him easily. Okay. Especially with the way that Spurs are going, they're going downhill, and whatever manager they end up getting, I think they are like a merry-go-round. It's going round, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So I would put my money on Osimhen. But if you're talking, here's a better question: how about who would score more goals in a United team? This United team right now, take out Wout Weghorst, put in Harry Kane, or put in Victor Osimhen. Who do you think would get more goals?
Kane.
Harry, 20 goals a season.
Right. He's already Sir. He's already Sir. It's always a little bit too much, isn't it? It goes normal. Of course,
crazy. Mina, look at Anthony Martial's game, and then just think of that times 2 plus 20 goals a season. That's Harry Kane. Our manager's already told us that Martial, once he's deployed into the team, we play our best football. Harry Kane loves that link-up style, going into the midfield line, and is a bagsman. It's guaranteed goals. It's just asking for goals.
You know why I think Osimhen would score more goals?
Go on.
Because if you watch him for Napoli, if you see those positions that he gets into, it's always the 6-yard box, maybe just outside the 6 yard. He's a poacher. He's poaching goals. Bruno Fernandes is on penalties. Harry Kane ain't taking penalties for United. So that takes about what?
He would.
I tell you what, he would.
I tell you what,
Harry Kane came.
They'll argue about it.
I don't think so. I don't think he'd come off the.
Bruno don't even always take the pens though.
If we have a Bruno,
sometimes it's Bruno.
If we have a Bruno, we got a Rashford, we've got an Anthony. Put Osimhen in front of them. I think he's scoring more goals than Kane simply because Osimhen is a pure shooter. That's what I like to call him. He's a pure shooter. He's a number 9. He gets in the 6-yard boxes and all around that space. You talk about Harry Kane and what he does back to goal, link up play. Yes, he does that very well. Occasionally, we saw against Newcastle, he scored a solo goal by himself. He literally dribbled in.
Even that goal was good.
And he can do that. He can do that. But he's not always going to be in them goal poaching positions that Osimhen is in. If you watch Napoli this season, you'll see how great Osimhen is. Amazing in the air. He's a goal poacher and he can score a few screamers. Harry Kane, admittedly, is better link up play. Osimhen is faster. Balls over the top to Rashford and Osimhen.
Here's one then. Ten Hag, what profile of striker do you think suits the game that he wants to play? So I agree.
Score goals,
how Osimhen plays. Yeah, exactly.
Score goals,
I see what Osimhen's on. 100% pace. Can't live with him. At it, lively. Press. He is a live wire, electric. Harry Kane, not so much so. With the way that Ten Hag wants to play ball, which is what he's waxing lyrical about Martial for, of how he plays the game. Which striker do you think he would prefer in his system?
I'll say Kane. No, it's fine. Go on, Kenny. But I just say Kane.
No, and I know you mentioned about Martial, and I don't know about. We all watched the game, and I saw it with my own eyes. It was live in front of me. I was really disappointed yesterday in Martial. I thought his attitude. I thought he was lazy. I'm being honest. I thought he was lazy.
I disagree with that, Kenny. I don't think he was, man.
Well, what the way I compared him yesterday. Right, we've all berated Weghorst. We have all berated Weghorst, right? Yesterday, Weghorst come on and show you showed you why Ten Hag rates Weghorst. Because his work rate, once he come on, was 10 times out of Marcel yesterday. He chased the ball down in the corner, and I think we got a corner from it, and he fisted
we got a free
crowd
kick.
or whatever.
Free kick from that one.
We got a free kick, right? Yeah. Right. That is the impact. If Tony Martial did that once, has he ever done that once in his United career, which is to chase a ball that was gone, right, and won something for it? No, he hasn't. So when we talk about who Ten Hag likes, Ten Hag talks, when he talks about Weghorst and these other forwards, he talks about the pressing stats, he talks about the recovery rate, their ability to in transition and the link-up play, etc. Doesn't talk about goals. Doesn't talk about goals. So in that respect, you're not having Osimhen, you're having Kane, because he will give you both if that is the case. However,
I think there were some people.
Come on, now just think. Can I just finish? I think we should be looking at 2, and I think we should be looking at 2 as a backup, because I don't think the fan base would keep Martial if asked. I don't think the fan base would. We can't justify keeping Martial on his wages and the fact that the number of games that he's playing and starting. I don't think. Not if you look how far behind we are. Manchester City, their goals, Arsenal's goals, or whatever. Our number 9, our main striker, Anthony Martial, doesn't play enough games in a season to get anywhere near those statistics. And that's a fact. You can't get behind that. I would love to see a younger. I'd love also to see someone like young Ferguson at Brighton as well, as to replace Martial. Get your Kane or your Osimhen, but get somebody like young Ferguson as well, because that lad could be the future. And if he was available for 40 million-ish or whatever, then I would go for somebody like that, because that lad. I
definitely agree. I definitely agree that we need 2 strikers. I could see, with Martial, the injuries this season, is he going to be the same ever again? Those question marks, fine. But the way that there was 2 guys behind me yesterday, behind me and Cam actually, and in the first half, they're kind of basic what you're saying, Kenny. He was lazy, he wasn't very good yesterday. One guy was like, "I'll get Martial for half time. He's not running, he's not doing this," and I just looked at it. I saw something completely different. Martial's role is and the way he plays the game and what Ten Hag wants and tactically is not to run around like a headless chicken like what Weghorst does. He's an alternative, and actually late in the game when the opposition players are tired, fair enough. Get Weghorst on, who ain't going to hold up the ball, barely win headers, and let him run around and win some fouls and get some passion at the end of the game. No problem with that. But when Martial, and we was getting it kind of wrong a little bit, when he goes to one of those centre-backs between Webster and Dunk too quickly, they're just knocking it around him. They're just playing out every time. He had to block the passing lanes, and we covered it. If you haven't seen it, Kenny, have a look at the tactical view that we did, me and Cam, earlier today. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but watch it. And we basically literally highlight. Yeah, when you have a look at it, actually give me a text once you've seen it, and let me know what you think then, because we were literally highlighting what Martial's role was in that game. Because I don't think he was as bad as people making out. I think that
this morning.
Go on.
No, because after your fan view last night, straight after the match, I could have said exactly the same as what you said. And that was, I thought our back 5 were fantastic overall. Absolutely fantastic. I was disappointed with our midfield. And you also said you was disappointed with our forward line.
Yeah. So attacking wise, but in terms of off the ball and the shape, but the whole defending, the back 5 were fantastic. But as a shape and as a team, Brighton are fantastic with the ball. Brighton are better with the ball than we are. So what Eric Ten Hag did yesterday was go, do you know what? Sod this trying to play out the back. We put a graphic up as well of the amount of long passes or long clearances or passes that David De Gea did versus the game before. Went long loads. Why? Because Eric went, we're not as good as these with the ball. And actually, we have to find a way to nullify them playing out from the back and the way that they manipulate the ball. And that's why we defended really well. Then, obviously, the back line in Shaw and Lindelof individually won their duels, and Wan-Bissaka was great against Matoma. But in terms of the team shape in midfield of how you need to be, I think Martial led that. That starts from up front. And I think if he would have ran around like Weghorst would have done from the off, when players aren't tired yet, the game we haven't felt ourselves into it, they would have passed out with us from ease. Because what Weghorst would have done is run all the way to Lewis Dunk, get to Lewis Dunk, ball goes back to Webster. He's going to run all the way back there. then he's going to pop it into midfield. Like, you got to close the passing lanes. You can't just expect him to run around like that. But just like I said, someone said take him off at half time, and I thought, nah, not for me. But later on in the game, when Weghorst did come on, when the game's a little bit more open, they're a little bit more fatigued, that's the right time to rush players into, you know. And when he did that, that wasn't like they had a slow build up from getting it out from the goalkeeper and was trying to build up play. That was in the far side, and it was a foot race. And Weghorst just tried really hard, won a free kick and got everyone up. That wasn't the beginning of a move where you need to have everyone back behind the ball and be a bit more meticulous. So I get why people say that about Marcel. Is he asked? And, you know, Tim Sherwood was saying even his face makes me annoyed, and he doesn't.
That's just silly. Tim Sherwood's just a bitter bastard, is what he is. Literally, you see him. His analysis. I just don't really like its face.
Yeah.
What are we doing? But I was surprised he nearly played 90. He nearly played 90 minutes.
That's actually a really big positive yesterday.
And he played Thursday as well.
Thursday,
Sunday, near 90. I was like,
and we thought he might be injured after Thursday.
He got injured.
Exactly. I saw him hobbling. Yeah, I saw him hobbling after.
And just on that though, that's another thing. Weghorst, because of that, because he's played so many times, he was deployed differently. It was there on the tactical view in terms of holding the team shape, the forward line, dropping back a little bit to stop that overload. They could also include the goalkeeper in that little box to make a 5 and be able to pass around Tony Marshall. So he drops back. The tactical view was brilliant with your Southend camps, man. It shows
Kenny, if you want to talk about lazy, I'll tell you what. Look at what Marcus Rashford was doing in that game.
I know.
Not hardly any people are really talking about it.
I thought
Rashford makes runs off the ball and the way he runs. He gave him no help whatsoever with Solly March, and Pascal Gross was getting out every time.
Delors was getting hammered yesterday.
Yeah. So, but no one.
Delors was getting hammered on that side.
Absolutely hammered. And no one spoke about the lack of running that Rashford done. And we played a clip in tactical view where literally they play out and it's Rashford's fault, and he goes, he just throws his arms in the air and doesn't even run back. Ericsson has to run all the way back and cover and try and help Dalot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dalot was 2-on-1 all day. 2-on-1 all day, Dalot.
Exactly. But interesting to see about the Harry Kane thing. I mean, the poll is polling, and it is 61%, 62% now for Victor Osimhen. A lot of people preferring to have Victor Osimhen over Harry Kane, and I knew that is the general consensus on United View. The comments of the community have thought that for a long time, and hopefully for them, we do get Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is going to cost a lot of money, off of obviously a fantastic season this year. If Victor Osimhen's going to cost, we talk about value for money then. If Victor Osimhen's going to cost 130 million, let's say 140, let's say it costs a lot more than Harry Kane, 40, 50 million more. Is that when he hasn't played in this league before, we're assuming he's going to come and hit it off and he can stay here for 10 years and we get the best of Victor Osimhen. But on the flip side, you might not. You might really struggle. Then we go, wow, another big money signing. Ain't made it. Like, there's pros and cons on both. For everything you throw at Osimhen, you can throw for Kane. And for everything you throw at Kane,
always risk.
You can, there's risk. There's risk in everything.
Risk. And someone said it in the comments, and they were absolutely right. The Napoli president, he's a stingy guy too. He's basically he was asking for 100 million for Osimhen last summer. Yeah. And that's before this successful season. So he's going to be asking for a lot. And there's other players at Napoli, which people are going to be sniffing around this summer too. So it might be a case of they have to do a bit of a Borussia Dortmund where they go, we're going to let go one. One's going to go. And it might be with Osimhen that eventually, they just price him out of a move and they go maybe next summer, and United can't afford to wait that extra year. It's always about who's available. I mean, and as we have said too, sometimes we forget about this as United fans, don't we? We are not going to be the only club looking for a big money name striker in the summer. There will be other clubs around, and there'll be other clubs, particularly in the Premier League, that are looking to smash the cash.
And they will pay wherever it
takes.
Bayern
Munich need one as well.
Bayern Munich, exactly.
Yeah,
there's people
and
looking
Kane
around.
Definitely ain't going there.
Exactly. You can go to Chelsea if you want, get a 25-year contract with no Europe. That's fine. Todd's going to give it to you. But, do you want success? That's the key thing. That's the key thing, I would say.
Just before we move on from Osimhen and talk about, can we stop City winning the treble, etc., etc. You guys smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. What's the highest price? I know you don't want him, Marcel, but we'll start with you. If it is going to be Osimhen, what's the price? What's the highest price for you?
So you said 40, 50 million potentially over, and I don't think you were saying it as an exact science,
Yeah,
But
it's just
I think, you just thrown it there. So I would say that's quite a lot, bro. If I'm honest, I'm looking at the 105, 110, 115 pushing it. I would be annoyed if it was 110. Harry Kane's
because you
80
don't think
million or
he's
100
worth
million.
that? Because you don't think he's worth that yet, or he's got more to prove, or
A
what?
bit of
Why do
both.
you
A bit. I'm looking at the market as a whole. I think there's other forwards that when Colomani that you could better spend Colomani. You know, there's other footballers around in the market. So 115 is a lot. It's a lot. So I would go maybe the most I would want to spend is 115 maximum.
Mina, I know you want Osimhen over Kane. What's your maximum price?
Maximum, I would say 120 max. 120 max, I would say. I think anything above that is quite a lot. And I just feel like the market right now is just oversaturated. And I just feel like transfers are just going to get even worse. I feel like it will be a matter of time when 200 million is going to be a normality for transfer fees in the next like 5 years. I honestly feel like it's just horrible. It's actually horrible. And I just don't want another 100 million signing that flops at United. I just don't want that.
Well, they both could be that. That's the thing as well. They're both going to cost a minimum of 100.
I was going to say about Osimhen, the only thing that concerns me about Osimhen is that like we could lose him for a month every year in January times for African Cup of Nations. That's another thing that probably the management might take into consideration. I would be against him ever being stopped to go to AFCON.
Yeah, he can't get stopped.
He should be allowed to go to AFCON, but then we would have to think about it. If we don't have a second striker option, then what would we do in that instance? Especially, I know January is normally the time that we have a FA Cup fixture, you have a Carabao Cup fixture, obviously Premier Leagues. If we're in Champions League, then Champions League knockout stages would be usually around February, so he'd probably just be coming back from AFCON. So there's so much stuff to consider, but 120 for me is the maximum, and I think they paid like 90 million euros for him.
A lot of money. And before we read out all the super chats, I haven't forgotten, we're going to get to the super chat straight after Kenny gives his maximum. And Owen, Kenny, what's your maximum for Victor Osimhen if we're going to get him?
For Osimhen, it doesn't matter. There's no maximum. It's not my money. Just go and get him. It's irrelevant, isn't it? As a fan, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Just go and get him.
Just get him.
If we're getting new owners, or whatever, then give us something to smile about, because it's true, isn't it? If they went out and got Osimhen, you wouldn't mind if it paid 500 million. It wouldn't bother you. You've got him. You've got him. Just get him.
Brilliant, Kenny.
Just get the best.
Owen, just get him. Don't matter what it costs.
I can't follow that. Okay, is what Kenny said. So just buy him.
Yeah, just get him. Just get him in the door. Okay, there is a lot of super chats, so bear with me. Rob says, I'd rather us not go for Kane. For the money we'd have to stump up for him, would it not be better to buy a younger striker, then use what's left on other positions, i.e. centre-back and back up to Casemiro? WJ Barrett says, Marcel is back and I'm here for it. Preach, Marcel. WJ Barrett also says, Owen is all in two. Who's next? I'm loving it. Just in for Harry Kane, he means. Santiago, big up to you, says, we need 2 available strikers. Osimhen has no reason to leave Napoli. Who else? I would go for Kane as first choice and a young Santi Jimenez for second. WJ Barrett says, Owen, can you please look at Osimhen's injuries? 140 million. Has he had bad injuries, has he, Osimhen? Has he has a lot? I've never seen his injury record.
Well, it's a bit of a myth, isn't it, about Harry Kane, isn't it, that they say he's super injury prone, and he's kind of not. The
ankle thing happens here or there, but we'll have a look at that Osimhen's injury record. PS has been a member for 9 months. Big up to you. Says, I agree that negotiating for Kane with Levy is torture. That's basically what Mina was talking about. Doesn't want to deal with Daniel Levy, but doing the same for Osimhen with De Laurentiis, I think that's their sporting director, at Napoli is just as torturous. K-Flow says, my problem isn't with Kane. We've had Terry Berber, RVP here. My problem is I don't want to give Levy 100 million. He buys a Ferguson and improves Spurs. Ahmed says, I would take Kane over Osimhen. Napoli are way worse to deal with, and he has he's Premier League ready and tested. Price would make more sense as well. Amir says Kane has been in big finals and has still won nada. He was injured in that Champions League final, weren't he? Carabao Cup final. I mean, it's Spurs, man. It's
Spurs there. That's what they do.
Like, I just, what's he supposed to do? What's he supposed to do? But I hear what you're saying. WJ Barrett says Osimhen will be the new Martial. Bare injuries. Saying he's got a lot of injuries. Josh Warren been a UV member for 10 months as well. Big up, Josh. Says, I don't say this often, but I agree with Marcel. although Mina is right. Osimhen is a poacher, but Kane is a better version of Martial. Eric Ten Hag, we trust. Interesting super chat that, Josh. And Katara says, Napoli's president is like Levy. He won't be cheaper. And that's the first super chat from Katara HD as well. Big up to you. Katorga, sorry. WJ Barrett says, the only problem with Martial is that he breaks easy. 100%, we've seen that this year. Nathan Joseph says, disagree with Kenny. I coach at a decent level, and if the instruction is not to press the centre-back because you're a lone striker, it's detrimental to the team's shape for him to be leaving his position to press in areas, which is what Marcus Rashford actually did quite a lot, and that's why they got out. Emmanuel, first super chat. Big up to you, Emmanuel. Thank you. Red Baron says, Flex, is there a reason pundits are a bit dim? Is there a reason? No, I don't know what the reason is.
Case by case basis, isn't it?
It is case by case. Yeah, some are really good. Some have played the game, played many games, won many trophies, and ain't got a clue. And others. So actually, some of the ones who maybe haven't ever hit the super heights of football are actually really measured and really good. The way they talk about football, it just depends on the individual. And Red Baron says we've been burnt so many by so many overrated English players. So yeah, there's the super chats.
Quickly, Flex, can I?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go.
No, you go next one.
No, this was just it's not even a super chat, but I just caught my eye here. G-Man says that Kane is world class for sure, but don't want any more 30-year-old players at the club. No more 30-year-olds. No to the 30.
It's a guaranteed goal, sister G-Man. But okay, my question is, guys, because Kenny, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. So does nobody here want Anthony Martial for next season? Would you rather sell Anthony Martial next season and recuperate the funds for him, or would you keep him on next season as your second choice striker?
Have both.
Second choice.
Yeah.
Second choice.
I'll go second choice. I don't mind. I don't mind if Martial doesn't have to play all the games. The problem is we've needed to rely on Martial, and he keeps breaking down. If he gets to like the 60th minute, 70th minute, I'd much rather bring on Martial than Weghorst.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Martial actually as a backup striker or starting games in the cups and stuff like that, I don't see as a problem.
Can we rely on Martial to actually be fit enough for the bench next season though?
We can.
Is it that bad, Owen?
No, we can't.
Look at his record this season. Look at his record this season. Let's be honest. He's come off the bench and then not played for 6 weeks, and we don't know why.
Terrible.
I'm going to stick my neck on the line, and this could be the biggest judge there ever has been, and I could jinx this.
I'm bracing myself.
Wait. Mina, stop doing that.
He don't learn. This guy don't learn.
Position. It's like being on a plane. I went for an oxygen thing to come down like this.
Wait there. I've already even said. Do you know what? I'm not saying it.
No, go on, say it.
I'm not saying it.
Say it. We want to hear it.
Everyone's saying don't do it. Everyone's saying
do it.
Do it.
We'll clip it.
Yeah, it's great content.
So I'll say what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I'll say what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I've already kind of said this, and I'm still going to stand by this. I said that this year for Martial has obviously been shocking. Yeah? Like, oh my God. Yeah, what has happened to this guy's body? But I think, like Rashford, I think in terms of injuries, I think this is going to be an anomaly. I think that he will go back to being just as available as he was before, which wasn't perfect. Little niggling injury here or whatever. But what we've seen this year, where it's absolute madness, like can't complete 90, absolute madness. I think this was just one of them seasons, and I think that he'll go back to being as available as he was, which was mostly available. Still had some injuries, but I think that he will go back to being, and because also the load will be less on him as well. So that's my thing. That's what I think.
He was like that last season, though. This is the second season in a row because he was like that last season. He had injuries last season too.
Yeah, but Yeah, he did.
It's not
he
a
went on
one-season
loan and
anomaly.
didn't play.
But yeah, he went on loan and got
Exactly.
injured.
Yeah, he
But
got injured.
Yeah.
I just think with Eric Ten Hag, I think he will know how to manage him. He'll get the main striker and keep Martial really fresh so that actually he can be useful for us. If he stays, he might just decide, you know what, I'm going to go and get 2 new ones. Maybe he will. But you know what it's like with us, the Glazers, the money, etc., etc. As fans, I get it. We are emotionally attached to situations. I do it all the time. On Thursday, I wanted the season to end. I said, oh my God, I want the season to end. Just press stop now. Give me 4th place or 3rd place, whatever, and the Carabao Cup, and I'm cool with that. And then I fast forward to feeling how I felt yesterday after winning on pens, and then it just changes the complexion. Then if he beats Spurs, it's like, wow, calm down. But I just feel that Martial has had the worst season of his life, and I don't think it will be that bad for him next season. And actually, and again, this could be double judged, but I'm in my bag now. I said I don't think he'll get injured again for the rest of the season, like where he's out and can't play. And actually, we got a scare against Seville. But he was all right, shook it off. He basically played 90 yesterday. He's building up to the 90, where in the running, he's going to be really important. So
that's interesting, though, Flex, what's on the screen right now, where they're saying that Martial, every time he's had to play back, how many times this season we said, oh, the reason why Martial is going to be so great is because his best seasons have been when he's the guy. But if we bring this other striker, he's not going to be the guy. And historically,
but he doesn't have as much leverage this time because. But I don't think he has as much leverage this time because he hasn't been available all this year for this manager, and we need another striker because we don't have any others. So I think the leverage for him to do that is I don't think is as high. But also with this manager as well, then you won't have a Man United future with this manager if you're not willing to do that. Look at Harry Maguire. Not that I'm saying we don't want him to play again, but he's had to just hold it. You're captain as well. You ain't playing, mate. You'll play when people are knackered or suspended. And actually, past this season, you might even be out. But yeah. So here's to Martial not getting injured on Thursday night because I have laid it all on the line.
Literally, it's set up.
We will laugh. You know
what it is. Like
in the last,
I think I've learned something, and this is going into the Man City thing and how negative I was on Thursday. I've just gone, you know what? This football roller coaster thing, as fans, it's going to be what it will be, man. We were a laughing stock at Liverpool, and I went, don't worry, the laughing jokes will be on someone else soon. Now Arsenal capitulating, then Spurs do that, then we get smashed off Sevilla, then Arsenal do that the next day, and then everyone's laughing at them. Then the pressure gets taken off Arsenal because Spurs go and do that, and then we win on penalties. Like, it is what it is. We're on the internet talking off emotions with our team. Yeah. So now I'm not scared anymore of saying what I think in my brain. So I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. Eventually you'll believe that, Flex. Eventually you'll say that and you'll believe it. Because I still don't believe it when you were saying it just then. I'll say what I want now. No judge.
No, what? I've said to judge. I've said I don't care about it anymore. And you know what, actually?
But you do.
After the game, here's one for you. Because no one saw, because we didn't put the video out because it wasn't a good time.
Because you're scared of the judge.
No. I touched quite a few. I came into contact with a few players after Sevilla. Only a few.
He's not named them though, has he? He's not
because a lot of them wouldn't talk to me. I can say that. I can tell you that for free. I said to Victor Lindelof, because I said to Josh after Sevilla, right? Obviously I was fuming, and this is where it's quite hard doing that side of this journalism and content creation, and as a fan, because when you're up and close and personal, like I was outside the dressing room after the Sevilla game, and I'm fuming. Eric Lamela came and stood right in front of me, because all the Spanish press were next to me, and he's doing all of his interviews in Spanish or whatever. And I'm like, I hate you. Like, he's so annoying. Hate in football terms, yeah? And like, I'm looking outside our dressing room. I'm just like, what am I even going to say to our boys? Like, I can't even do the whole happy. I just want the ground to swallow me up. I want to go home. I kept saying, I was like a baby. I was like, I just want to go home. And when the players started walking out, yeah, Lindelof came out. I went, yes, Vic. I said, Victor, Sunday, go again. Didn't look at me. Carried on looking straight. And there's only a few guys. And you know who I spotted? And he actually said, we'll go again. Wamby always comes over. Yes, we say it, man. And look how he played.
If I'd have known,
I should have put the video. I know.
No, if I'd have known that you touched players or interacted with players before a penalty shootout, of all things.
And look what happened, though. And guess who else? Dallo. Full embrace it was. I went, Diogo, bro. I swore, I said, Diogo, don't let anyone chat shit. We go again Sunday, bro. At that point, I didn't even believe it. I was so low, but I was trying to raise the players. You know what I mean?
You were lying.
Penalty.
You were lying to their face.
I swear to God. Josh might even have it because we didn't put it out.
Yeah, Josh has the footage.
Josh has the footage.
Yeah.
Malacia, same thing. Dapped him up. Who else? Jaden.
Yeah.
Jaden. And look. So there you go, guys. That judge thing's not real. It's not real. Yeah.
Broken clock. It's right twice a day.
I've been right quite a few times after touching players, actually. More than twice.
Wow.
So, Josh, look, see, he's got it. He's got it. Josh says, I got it. It's true.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to put an embargo on it.
I will say great content. What I have enjoyed about the European campaign was both your vlogs with regards to when he was behind the scenes in the museums of Sevilla, and was it Real Betis? I thought they were fantastic. That was brilliant. Really interesting.
They're good.
Really interesting.
With the George Best shirt as well at the Sevilla.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You find out a lot of random stuff. Who would have thought that Sevilla got their colours off Sunderland? Like, you just would never have known. Like, and there's geezers from Scotland who, it's just crazy.
Really good.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that, Kenny. Really appreciate that. But moving it on, Mina, can we stop City? We are in the final. We're in the final. This treble talk. Oh, I hope Arsenal win the league so City don't do this. Oh, Benzema and Real Madrid, I hope they knock them out. Oh, Napoli Inter Milan, AC Milan, stop City. Stop doing that. No, we're Man United and we can stop them. It's in our hands. What are you saying, Mina?
I don't like the discourse around, can we stop them? We shouldn't be looking at winning the FA Cup as an opportunity to stop City. Yes, they are our rivals. Yes, they've been doing better than us the last 10 or so years, but we should be looking at it as an opportunity for Erik ten Hag to win another trophy. Like, that should be the main focus. The main story should be, a manager in his first year at Manchester United has the chance to win 2 trophies and finish top 4, when a lot of people had kind of written off the season after the first 2 games when we got smoked. I really, really don't like people when I just keep seeing it everywhere saying, can we stop? It's in our hands to stop City doing the treble, blah, 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 blah. I was gonna say something, but I might
say it.
No.
Say it. No.
I won't say it verbatim, but what I will say is when it comes to the title race, there's a reason why I'm not that mad if Arsenal win it. That's all I have to say. Out of the two, I know a lot of people
can't win 3 Premier Leagues in a row.
I would rather Arsenal win the Premier League.
Yeah, that's fair.
And because I know a lot of people are against Arsenal winning the Premier League. Arsenal fans are annoying. My family who are Arsenal fans, they're irritating as hell, but I can deal with it. I can live with it. I can't live with City winning it and maybe even like beating us in the FA Cup final. We've never played them in a final, in an FA Cup final. And that momentum and that moment is taken away from this title of can we stop City? Well, firstly, let's accept the fact that we're playing Man City in a final. That's number 1. It's a Manchester derby. Number 2, it's Erik ten Hag's debut season. He can win 2 trophies and top 4, like I said, when a lot of people have written us off. Number 3, I think we can beat City. I genuinely think we can beat City. And yes, City are picking up form right now, but they are in a title race. They've still got Champions League football. Thank God we're knocked out of the Europa League, because now we just have the Premier League to play for, top 4 to play for. That's all we have to focus on. We're not going to be playing midweek fixtures as much anymore. And I said this the other day. I said it in my fan view that when we played City in January at home, we looked absolutely amazing, and we can easily make Wembley Stadium our home stadium, because they ain't gonna sell out their end. So if anyone wants to go to the game and can't get tickets in the City and pick up your jumper. But we can make it feel like Old Trafford. That will make a whole heap of a difference. And yeah, we're missing players, etc. But I believe in the manager. So let's not focus on can we stop City. Let's more think about, can Ten Hag win a second trophy?
It's facts. It's facts. I think that's what a lot of the conversation is now, or should be turning to, because like you said, we don't want them to do the treble. But it's a double bubble, isn't it? One's a byproduct of the other. If you do one, it means the other will happen. Do you know what I mean? If we lose, it means they can maybe win the treble. If they've won the league by then and they're in the Champions League final, which would be after that. if we win, don't matter what they do, don't matter what they win, you ain't getting a treble if we win. So yeah, I agree. Marcel, I mean, I know I don't even need to ask you if I think you can we beat City in that game, but how are you feeling at knowing that, you know, that's who we got? Let's have it.
I remember you posing a similar question to me that you've asked Mina at the end of the game the other day, and I said similar to Mina. She said it perfectly. So I think it's an opportunity for us to get another trophy, you know. And in the first season, we've rapidly raised our expectations of what a Manchester United player should be and a team should be in terms of its aspirations. So we can beat them. Counter attack is definitely the style of game I think we'll have to go towards, but it's within our DNA to play that alongside the really good possession, you know, total football, attacking and defending with 11 that 10 out deploys. I'm ready, man, and I don't see any reason as to why we can't beat them. I think Fred done a fantastic job on De Bruyne last time at home. Obviously, he gets away and gives the assist to Jack Grealish for their goal, but you know, if we've got strong, focused, concentrated players, Wamby's playing brilliant, and a couple of our defensive performances are good, I think on the counter attack we're one of the best teams in the league. So we can get opportunities, and there will be opportunities in that game for us. It's just hopefully Rashi's fit. Hopefully our core set of players are fit with no Martinez, Casemiro's coming back, Bruno will be around, but you know, there's a certain few players that need to be there for that game. But I think it's going to be a win for us, if I'm honest.
Kenny?
We will beat Manchester City at Wembley. And the reason I'm confident is that I was confident that we would beat them at Old Trafford. We'd watched the game before against Chelsea when we played them at Old Trafford. And we all highlighted the fact that they played 4 wingers in that game against Chelsea to try and break them down. He took Grealish off and put Foden on, and he took Mahrez off on the other side and put Silva on, etc., because they couldn't break Chelsea down. We said, when they come to Old Trafford, that if he puts Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side and we have left-sided players to play them with high energy, and we asked for Fred to play, and he did, Fred was outstanding that game. Fred was outstanding. And De Bruyne was all over the pitch to get away from Fred, and he couldn't. And Grealish never once got past Wan-Bissaka. So I'm ultra confident that if Wan-Bissaka's fit, if we have Fred on the pitch for his energy at Wembley, and I'm not being critical of Eriksen, I am not, because I think he's a fantastic player, but outside of Casemiro on a big pitch, it doesn't work for me. And because my energy teams or whatever, yesterday we needed a Fred. Fred's substitution yesterday was perfect. We needed him. It was all over the place. We will need him against Manchester City, against Wembley, and we will play them on the counter attack, and we will score on the counter. We will beat Manchester City at Wembley.
Just quickly, I knew this would happen. Josh has come through. Josh has come through in the back end. I saw him in there doing something, and he's got a clip there that I have not seen before.
Me neither.
But I think actually, to be fair to us, this is good quality control, because the tone of what happened after Sevilla wasn't the right time to be, you know, and I was actually really down in that person, but he's obviously put something together. So we're just going to go along and hit play and see what happened in the aftermath outside the Manchester United dressing room against Sevilla. World exclusive.
Bambi, go again, yeah? Sunday, yeah? Go again, bro. Go again. Bro, don't let anyone talk any crap. Go again, alright? Go again.
I tell you what, that AI is getting really good, isn't it? Really, really good AI. Because, I mean... No. AI. Josh is a master editor. Very, very good. Well done, Josh. You are a graphics guru, a visual ninja. Congratulations.
You all laughed at me. Well, I must say, you're not laughing anymore, are you? You lot all told me, don't do that. Wan-Bissaka played. He was man of the match in a lot of people's eyes yesterday. But
Definitely.
will one of you look at this? It's fake. Old footage. You see what I'm saying? Will one of you go? There is just about 900 people watching. Will one of you 900 go, you know what, Fleck? Well done for bigging up Wan-Bissaka and getting him in the right mindset to bounce back. Well done for getting into Dallo and saying, don't let anyone talk any shit, Dallo. We go again. Well done for raising. Will I get any credit for that?
Lex,
No,
were you wearing a full United tracksuit It looked like you know them people that when fans turn up to games in a full tracksuit like they just finished playing as well. It looked like he's wearing a full United tracksuit.
Look again.
Bambi, go again, yeah? Sunday, yeah? Go again, bro. Go again. Bro, don't let anyone talk in the camera. Go again, alright? Go again.
AI is getting so realistic.
Very, very realistic. I mean, this channel is it's a democracy, this channel, and there is a poll in the chat that says, is the footage fake? At the moment, the majority say yes. So the community knows. You can't pull the wool over there.
Curtis knows. But you know what, Curtis? We just fall back. They will always try and rain in on you. They try. Look, now it's fake, moving the goalposts, all this stuff. FIFA simulator. Look at what's going on here. It's all fake now, but it's fine. It's fine. I know what really went down. Josh was there. You lot choosing not to believe it. I told you the judge it's not a thing anymore. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. But it ain't because of me. Unless we put in a performance like the other day, which was because of me, because of Wan-Bissaka, because he came back.
Well, this is the thing now. You've set yourself up because if Wan-Bissaka plays on Thursday and he gets injured, it's the delayed judge. It's a new aspect to it. It's if you
but I just wanted to be consistent, Owen. If you're just going to leave me alone, fine. But when it goes bad, don't rain in on me. And then when it goes good, no one said that. Everyone's silent. Everybody's silent.
Well, see what happens.
It's AI now. It's Allen Iverson now, apparently. That's what it is.
What happens. We'll see what happens Thursday. You know what I mean?
Just really quickly, guys. Moving on from the artificial intelligence. Luke Shaw and Lindelof as the pairing.
Awesome.
I mean, that's got to be it, innit? Here's the question then. We all agree that obviously that's the one, yeah? Do you think Ten Hag goes back to Harry Maguire against Spurs, or in general goes back to Harry Maguire somewhere because he's an actual centre back, or do you think he just stays with Shaw and Lindelof for as long as he can, and if they need a little rest, Harry Maguire's back to stocking filling for whoever wants to take it?
You shouldn't.
You can't change. You can't change. We saw what happened against Sevilla. We all saw it with our own eyes. And if I was David De Gea, I'd be knocking on Ten Hag's door and saying, "Luke, if I'm getting slagged off for my performance against Sevilla, right? Look at how I can play when I've got a decent back four in front of me. How I can pass through knowing full well that I don't have to be on my guard because I don't know what's going to come back at me." So for me, I think the whole team, never mind the defence, looks so assured when Lindelof and Shaw were there. Without a doubt. No, I'm afraid Harry Maguire, go to the beach early, lad. You're having a nice early break. Go to the beach.
Go to the beach early, lad.
Go to the beach early.
It was such a polite diss. Go to the beach early.
Go to the beach early.
I'm gonna take that one. I got write that one in my book. I got to use that one.
Gardening leave. You're on gardening leave now. Gone.
Mina, how impressed was you with Luke Shaw and Lindelof? And do you think that's exactly what Ten Hag's looking for in terms of he's the closest thing, Luke Shaw, to Martinez with what we've got?
Yeah, I'm happy for Lindelof. Shout out to what's his name? Blue Dabba D Dabba Die.
Yes, that's his guy, isn't it? Yeah, that's
he was in the
Because
chat
everyone-
this morning,
everyone used to
and
laugh at him.
he was very
Yeah,
happy
big
this
up.
morning. He came in. He was like, "You
Shout
were
out
doing the
to him.
Nigel Farage." He was like, "I told you all. I told you."
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I'm happy for Lindelof because he gets boxed into this,
Yeah,
people just
exactly.
box him into this little area with Harry Maguire. But I think he's very capable of being a rotational centre back for us. I mean, if he's happy to play that role in the future, I think he's more than capable. And the last 2 games, he's shown the leadership qualities. We talk a lot about leadership from the back that we're missing sometimes, and especially when Martinez and Varane are not playing. And Lindelof showed that even the Sevilla game where it seemed that we were so beaten and depleted, he was calling for the ball. He was trying to progress the ball to step up for that winning penalty yesterday as a centre back, and that was such a nice penalty as well. Top corner, he didn't blast it or anything. It was clean. He placed it in. I think he can be back up, and I think Luke Shaw, we have to give him his flowers because he's someone that. His first few games in that left centre back position, one of them was up against Haaland, and now he's shown the reliability that he can provide. he was getting forward sometimes so much that I forgot he was playing centre back yesterday.
Yeah.
He still has that attacking mindset even when he's defending, and playing with Lindelof I think has helped him, because I feel Lindelof at one point in like the 70-something minute was encouraging him to get forward, and Casemiro was dropping into that centre back position. So they're learning how to play together. The next couple of weeks is important, and they will probably be the partners in the centre back position. I don't want to see Harry Maguire there. Did you guys see the clip of the just before the penalty shootouts? Bruno going around clapping, telling everyone, "Come on, guys!" And Harry Maguire's just standing in the back like this.
Was he? Oh man,
he's just absolute. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him in a United shirt again.
Oof. Say it as it is, man. Say it as it is.
Say it as it is.
Because you think how mad it is for Harry Maguire, yeah? He's gone to, like, obviously the captain and then just never plays because it's a Varane and Martinez situation. Then them two get wiped out. Then he's now gone to, I'm going to play the left back instead of you there. And then you're not going to be the other centre back playing as well. You're still on the bit. Like, it's very telling for him. Obviously, look, there's been games where he's come in and by the skin of his teeth as we've managed to, do all right. And we've given him his credit in the small areas when he has played well. But there's been far too many times where it's just not it, is it? It's just not.
We can't trust him. We can't trust him.
And
Playing out yesterday.
Calmness. The calmness that Lindelof and Shaw had.
All right, it was kicking it long, but we didn't mind him kicking. We all wanted him to kick it long. We all knew what needed to happen. And even when he didn't kick it long, we weren't nervous. We just weren't nervous as a fans. We had far more confidence in Lindelof taking the ball and Shaw in that central area than what we've ever had with Maguire. So, no,
but it's funny though, because like young Dino says here, Flexi was suspended. I guarantee if he could have played, he would have, unfortunately. But this is how football's crazy. Just before we finish off, because say we would have got through against Sevilla away and we kept a clean sheet and we played well. I know that's so far from happening. He probably would have just carried on playing, wouldn't he? Like, I don't know. He probably would.
Well, you think about it earlier on the season when Shaw was playing centre back. Martinez, by that point, had eventually come back from the World Cup. People forget Martinez didn't get straight back in. Ten Hag said,
preferred Shaw at that time.
Ten Hag said, because remember when we played City and we beat them, Martinez was available.
Yeah, he said he wasn't ready yet.
He was on the bench. He went, no, he's not ready yet, and it's working. So I would hope, and I think considering the result on Thursday and then the result on Sunday, particularly for a game like Spurs, where, look, granted, they're not playing very well. They just lost 6-1. Their interim coach is now gone, and they got the other guy in Ryan Mason. Let's be honest. If we win that game, you would say top four is basically done. We got it in the bag there. We'd be 9 points ahead of Spurs with 2 games in hand. So you're saying if there's a game you need to win, if you're Ten Hag in the next couple of weeks, it's that one. Then you've got
9 points ahead of Liverpool with 1 game in hand.
Yeah, because let's face it, I don't think we're going to go to the end of the season and not drop any more points. It will happen at some point. So, but if you've got that big a cushion, it'll be near enough done. So I would think there's something in continuity. There's something in a team that had to fight, and they did have to fight yesterday. Didn't play amazingly, but that's what we had to do, and I'm happy with it.
Ahmed, just going to get through the super chats before we wrap up, guys. Ahmed with a big super chat. He says, "I wouldn't be mad if we paid 30 million to get rid of Maguire. Take it out of our own. We only had 4 million.
It's not our money. It's not our money.
Yeah, like you said,
just do it.
Divine, thank you for the super chat. Your first one. Big up to you. Red Baron says Anthony Taylor is a ref for Spurs. WJ, but I don't know.
Better than Craig Pawson. He's a disgrace. He's a cheat. What did it take for him to book a Brighton player? It took to the 91st minute yesterday. He is a joke. Absolute joke. PMGM.
What do you think of him, Owen? What do you think? Oh,
he is a disgrace. I was losing my effing mind watching that game.
Yeah, everyone. I thought one guy behind me was going to break the seats, and when he started going mad. When that one happened, when they stopped the counter attack, and he didn't book someone.
Well, which one could that be? Because it was like a million times they did that.
The guy behind me was going, "Hey, you effing round, kicking up the seat." He's going mad. And rightly so. WJ Barrett says he won't spud you if he knew you called him Brackfoot. No, he wouldn't. Or maybe he does. And one thing I will say,
you called it
exactly,
Flex.
Exactly, 100%. I did cure it. That's why he rates me, because you know what, I repaired it. I repaired the Brackfoot. David Miller says we be burned by 100 million players giving Spurs money. Vishal says, good to see the full view back again. Missing KG. Yep, he's somewhere across the ocean. Seeing he's having a ball in Lagos. Happy to see the bounce back after the capitulation against Sevilla last Thursday. Think I've seen us win a penalty shootout after ages. WJ Barrett says, coronation settings for King Flex. We are not worthy. Red Baron says, we've been burnt. Oh, yeah, we've read that one already. So, yes, that is the end of the super chats. And the end of the show. Big up. Good show. Enjoyable show. Good laugh. And we've got a lot of content coming your way in the lead up to the Spurs game as well. Hopefully we go and do the business there, which we should. They are really poor. But I don't know. There's something about us in the away games against, I know Spurs are awful, but you know, the bigger teams, if they bloody score early by fluke or a bit of magic of Kane corner or something crap, you know what we're like away from home. So that does worry me a bit. And then new manager bouncing in Ryan Mason, Jesus. But I don't know. Sometimes we can be Man United, though. We can do Man United things of this season, and we got to get the job done against Spurs. So hopefully we do. Smash a like on the video, guys, and I'll speak to you again soon. And so will all of us. Take care.